Hey folks, back again with my second video of the day. This will probably be it because I'm going to work soon. I've got quite a lot of catching up to do, like I said. Next, Canterbury scene. Where do I begin? I don't have everything that came out of Canterbury, mainly from the 70s, early 70s. I'm a massive fan of English prog rock in general, but Canterbury there was something else going on there. I mean, these guys were just... what can I say? They were just doing shit that everyone else wasn't doing. A lot of jazz. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you guys are watching this, you're fans of this sort of stuff. I don't need to say much else. So I will start with, for me, the leaders of that scene, the Soft Machine, who we also have playing in the background right now. I'm just showing albums here because I don't have many singles. There aren't many. I've got a Matching Mole single. I think that's about it. Maybe a Caravan single somewhere. Anyway, this is quite battered, but this is a first pressing, American pressing. Well, it only came out. It was only pressed in America of their first album, with the rotating sleeve. They did this before Zeppelin did. Yeah, I've also got another copy of this now, which has just got the plain sleeve. But it's got a mint record, so I am after a nice sleeve to put with my mint record, and then I can get rid of these other ones. But this will do for now. This album's just great. I mean, yeah, Kevin Ayers was there then as well. I mean, how can you really describe this? It's just way out there. It is jazz. There's funky and soul elements in there, and this was 1968. These guys were just way ahead, and of course Robert Wyatt's instantly recognisable voice, and it's all like everything flows, you know, it all seeds in together, almost like we're only in it for the money by Zappa. It's almost like you're just listening to well, I suppose because there's two sides, two long pieces of music. Just great album. Excuse me, I've just got to put it back in here. Patience. Right, that's the first album. Next up, the second album. This was I've no idea why the first album wasn't pressed over here. This is a lovely first pressing on the Black Probe label, manufactured by EMI. Kevin Ayers had already jumped ship at this point, and Hugh Hopper had taken his place, the late great Hugh Hopper. Brilliant bass player and songwriter. This cover is just freaky. This album's very much in the same vein as the first, I'm sure you all know. It's just phenomenal. I think I prefer the first one by a fraction, but this one's not far off. Really good. And then they got even more jazzy and more instrumental with Third, which is the track you're listening to now, Slightly All the Time from that album. Yeah, this is, I mean, look at this photo. This is just the coolest photo. Just chilling in a typical 60s bachelor pad with cups of tea on the floor and cakes. I love that. This album just blew my mind when I first heard it. It's a double album, one piece of music each side. The last Soft Machine song with vocals on it, The Moon in June. Before they gradually started saying to Robert Wyatt, we don't want any more singing in our songs, which was why he left, I think, amongst other things. Which is a shame because he's got a great voice, but hey, he went on to do some great stuff after that anyway. Brilliant album. This is a nice original English pressing as well, with the company in the sleeves, and I'll show you the lovely orange CBS labels. It looks a bit pale there, but it's a deep orange. And of course all the Miles Davis stuff's on that label and blah blah blah. Soft Machine 4. I need one with a slightly nicer sleeve. You can't really see it, but this sleeve's actually quite warm because it was textured. It's an English pressing again with the inner sleeves. The last album with Robert Wyatt, all instrumental, jazzy as hell, really good. This for me is the last good Soft Machine album, really. I did have the 5th and 6th and blah blah blah, but I don't know if it's because Robert Wyatt left, but I don't know, maybe I need to listen to them again. I did have them on vinyl and I got rid of them. I just couldn't get into them. Maybe I'm just being a bit stubborn because I love Robert Wyatt, but I don't know. I mean, Robert didn't even write any of the tracks on this, so I'm not sure. I mean, and Mike Ratledge, what a great guy. Anyone know what happened to him? He's just vanished. He's still alive, but he's just not doing anything. And of course there's Elton Dean there, who also passed away. Great sax player, he's playing sax on this track now. And of course, Reginald Wyatt was in a band with him in the 60s and thought, oh, I like the name Elton Dean, and then renamed himself Elton John. True story. And of course, when Robert Wyatt left, he went on to form Matching Mole, which Machin Molle was actually French for soft machine, so it was kind of a piss take, typical of Robert Wyatt really. Brilliant album. Yeah, you got a great lineup here: David Sinclair, Phil Miller, Bill McCormack. Really good stuff. I just love this album because it's got a lovely inner sleeve as well. It's typical of Wyatt, you know, really, really nice funny lyrics, nice vocals, and then just insane jazzy prog interludes. This album's just all over the place. This band were too short-lived, and of course this album's very much in demand today. You just don't see it much anyway, and it's not cheap when it does turn up. I got this quite a while ago at a record fair. It's a really nice copy, and this was one of my recent ones, but I thought I'd save it for this post. The second album, Little Red Record, this is the original as well. I'd say this is slightly better than the first one. I don't know though, depends what mood I'm in. This is even more proggy, with less vocals. This hasn't got the inner sleeve. It did come with a red inner sleeve with moulds on it, which I will try to get at some point from another copy or something. But this is mint. The vinyl and sleeve are immaculate. I actually got this from the States, funnily enough. There was an English pressing over there. It was pressed in America as well, but I'm not interested. I'd rather get the English ones because they just sound amazing. Yeah, this album's just great as well. I'd recommend that. And then of course that was it. Matching Mole made 2 albums and that was it. So I thought I'd follow on with Robert Wyatt's Rock Bottom album, his first solo album second. I don't have his first one. His first one was on CBS called End of an Ear, 71. I think it was before Matching Mole. It is free, out there, crazy shit. I don't have it, it's very hard to find, but I am after it. Highly experimental, and apparently he doesn't even include that now. He kind of has disowned it because he doesn't really associate it with his stuff, which is a shame because I think it's good. But it's good to show that he has an experimental side, definitely. This has got a slightly tatty cover, but it's a lovely copy on the original Virgin label. It's when they started adding colour to the label. It's released under 17 on Virgin. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, great album. I mean, when I first heard this, I didn't know what to make of it. I was already a fan of Soft Machine, and yeah, I mean, this is after his horrific accident and everything, and it's a great album, and produced by Nick Mason of all people. Just brilliant. And of course, Hugh Hopper's on there, Laurie Allen, Richard Sinclair, even Ivor Cutler and Mongeezy Fazer, if that's how you say his name, make an appearance. Yeah, brilliant. The only other Robert Wyatt album I have is his third one, Ruth is Stranger Than Richard, also on Virgin. I think after this he had quite a gap before he made anything else. I don't know why, but this is lovely because it's got the Virgin inner sleeve, which I've never seen before, which I'm very proud to have one, and it's a nice copy, and of course it's on the original label. This is a really nice copy. I got this from a guy that bought it when it came out, and he really looked after his stuff. It saddens me that people, you know, are still selling their collections or have got their records just hiding in a loft, you know. But I guess that's better for us people that want to get this stuff. Yeah, this took me a while to find. It's very hard to find out, and this is a lot jazzier than Rock Bottom. This is sort of, it's pretty out there. It's great. It's even got a track with Brian Eno fucking around on the synth on it called Team Spirit, which is my favourite track on there, which is jazzy as hell. It is brilliant. And of course Robert's lyrics are great. Next up, I suppose it's an extension of the Canterbury scene, the legend that is Kevin Ayers. I've only just really in the past few years got into Kevin. I've always heard about this album, and when I was first buying records when I was younger, I'd always see this record, and just didn't know him, so I never bought it. And of course now it's impossible to find, and it's really hard to find a decent copy. I actually got this fairly cheap. I always seem to say that, but it just goes to show you can always get. You know, you always think I'm never going to find one of these unless I pay a lot of money. But I paid £30 for this, and it's a really nice first pressing. And you know it's the first because there's no EMI box on the label. If you want to be geeky about it, I mean, really, the ones with the EMI boxes came out like a year or two later. There's not much difference. But these have got thicker vinyl and they do sound a bit nicer. But yeah, this album's just. I mean, Kevin Ayers is just on his own. Really, it's very hard to categorise him. Just very much like all the Canterbury sort of stuff. I've just put him in here because he's Soft Machine related, really. And wasn't he good looking? Yeah, great stuff. And his second album, which is, I mean, I've heard his other stuff, but I don't like it as much. I think his first two are the best. This has got Mike Oldfield on bass. There's a short-lived band that he formed with David Bedford and Mike Oldfield, who is there, and the legendary Lol Coxhill, and also Mick, what's his name? That's bad, I can't remember his name. Mick Fincher on drums. This album is equally as good as Joy of a Toy, and again, hard to find. This is also a first pressing with the inner sleeve. I did have a spare of these which I've sold. I mean, they turn up very rarely now. I'd say this is rarer than Joy of a Toy. It's sold less, and it's a lot more experimental as well. There's quite a lot of minimalist sort of free jazz elements in there. It's very good. Next up, my favourite of all the Canterbury bands, and probably my favourite prog band, are Egg. Now, excuse the sleeve. I need to find a nicer sleeve. This was obviously water damaged at some point, but this album is very rare now, especially in decent condition. Thankfully, the record's in good condition though. This is a first stereo pressing. Right, yeah, Egg are still criminally underrated, but to me, they were one of the first prog rock bands, really. This is 1969. Imagine Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but better, and you're halfway there. That's quite a statement, I know. They were just insane. There's three of them, drummer, bassist and keyboardist. The bassist, Monk Campbell, also sang. Dave Stewart, the keyboardist, not Eurythmics Dave Stewart, also went on to be with Hatfield The North, who I'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, this is just brilliant, and it's the stereo pressing on Duran Nova. If anyone out there has a spare copy with a nice sleeve, I'd be interested. Or just a sleeve. You can see how damaged it is. That's the only downside to this. But apart from that, it's great. I've also got their second album, The Polite Force. They only made 3. I don't have the third one, which was on the Caravan label, which was owned by Virgin. I mean, their albums are just really hard to find now. And again, this is another band that when I was younger, I remember seeing their albums a lot in the shops and not knowing who they were. I wish I'd just gone by my instincts and thought, oh, that's an interesting cover, I'll have that. But of course I didn't. I think I paid quite a lot of money for this. Well, I say a lot, I mean like 40, 50 quid. To me that's quite a lot of money for a record, but it is a really nice copy. Generally this is more highly regarded than the first one. It's a tough call. It is a tough call. I think the first one's a little bit better for me, but this is still superb. Highly recommended. And then, yeah, like I said, Dave Stewart went on to start Hatfield The North, who were named after a road sign which is not far from where I live actually, which has Hatfield and the North. Hatfield's not that far from where I am, like a sort of 45-minute journey, maybe less than that. Yeah, I mean these guys were just, it's an extension of the whole humorous lyrics, Robert Wyatt thing. Robert Wyatt's even on this album singing. There he is. Can we see that? Can we see it? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, this album's brilliant, and again, it's on the Virgin label. And the Virgin were very experimental in their early days. This was the 8th release on Virgin. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. I love this album. I highly recommend it. If you don't already know it, which you probably do. Hatfield The North, ladies and gentlemen. And their only other album, which I bought very recently, was The Rotters Club, which came out, I think, a year after, in '75. Yes, a year after. Release number 30 on Virgin. Yeah, like I say, I got this very recently for £15, which is great, because on eBay people are paying £60 or £70 for these. They just go crazy for the Canterbury stuff, man. I guess it's just because they're so good and very hard to find, and it's got a lovely laminated sleeve. I'd say both these albums are equally as good as the other. They're just brilliant. And again, it's almost like the Soft Machine first album, where all the tracks seeg in together, and it's just like one long, insane, progressively jazzy, mental piece of music. Yeah, check it out. Last but not least, we have, now of course, I'm sure you're wondering why I haven't mentioned these, Caravan. Now, this is a band that I still haven't got into that much, which is ridiculous, but this album was actually my mother's, and of course it's Mother's Day today, so I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mum, who's in December will be gone for 5 years now. She was a big part of my life, of course. Anyway, this was one of her favourite albums, and this was her copy, so this is one of my prized records, really. I have quite a few of my mum's records, but she really looked after her records. This is a really nice copy, and yeah, this is probably why I know this album, because she used to, well, her and my dad used to love this, and they used to listen to it all the time. And I've tried listening to like In the Land of Graham Pink and Waterloo Lily and stuff like that, but it just doesn't do it as much as this album does for me. And funnily enough, if you can hear this in the background, Soft Machine, this is part of Slightly All the Time. It's called Backwards. Caravan cover it on this album with an orchestra, and it is overwhelming. I tear up when I listen to this album now, you know, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, again, it's on the Duran label. Great album. So, if you guys want to have a go at me for not listening to Caravan a bit more, if you want to recommend, I mean, I haven't even heard their first album, so maybe I really do need to start catching up with Caravan. I've just been too busy listening to Egg and Soft Machine. So yeah, that's all the Canterbury stuff I have. So if you have any comments or anything like that, drop me a line. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.